Hello and welcome to Infamous, the audio podcast. This is Mutilus or Brandon.
This is One Who Parks or Parker.
This is Grumelzog or Josh.
Hell yeah!
I can't believe, what is this, episode 2, like 35? I've never heard you do that. That is awesome.
265.
Oh, that's so
Well,
great.
last week we talked about how you can do it so like the same that people think it's a recording, and so I figured I'd throw you a curveball.
Yeah, that was nice. That was really good.
And immediately everybody went, "What's happening?"
I had to like pull, do a 3-point turn in my brain. Oh,
Yeah.
Oh, that was good. Thank you,
Welcome
Mitchell.
back to another riveting episode of Infamous. Unfortunately, that was the riveting, so we're gonna get back to just the podcast part.
Yeah, that was it.
So, let's see. News? Not really any news. I was talking with Parker just before we started recording. I read all the words today.
He knows all of them.
I know all of them. You can't trick me anymore.
I want to know.
I read
Oh, good.
the whole Old World rulebook. Well, at least the sections with rules, which is way more pages than you might think. I don't know if anybody's ever read the 40k rulebook. There's like 20 pages of rules, and a lot of it's pictures, honestly. Like, I have to check. This thing is massive. So I read from... What freaking page is it even? Alright, the rules start on page 91, which doesn't sound good, but they go until 300 and... Still going, hold on. 343, so it's 250 something pages of like actual text that you have to read. And then I read
and memorize
the FA. Yeah, you need to know what the shit does. It's not just reading. Like,
it's
you
not
have
reading
to,
for fun necessarily.
I would say the majority of. I would say the average number of times I read each paragraph was twice because I wanted to really retain the specifics. Because the difference between making a break test and a panic test are incredibly different. And so, like, little things like that, like, take a long time. Let's see. There's also, I went through and read the FAQ, which, again, doesn't sound that bad, but it's 17 pages of text.
Mm-hmm.
And, again, they're very specific. And you're like, okay, what did they change in this paragraph? You're like, oh, they added the word or else or something. And so you have to actually figure out what the difference is and what it means. And so, yeah, it took freaking forever. But, yeah, I have a game scheduled tomorrow with John. I am excited to get a game in with John. I don't think I've played John in like 2 years. And so he's going to bring his Bretonnians, and I'm going to kill them with zombies. It's going to be great. Nothing is better than watching like a Knight of the Grail die to a zombie biting his leg. Like, it's so great.
It's a zombie jamboree. So, what would you say was the most surprising rule that you didn't know existed in the game? Like, you read it and you were like, oh, huh. Like, that's...
Well, so yeah, because a lot of times you'll start reading and you're like, your brain is like free-filling the back text, right? You're assuming what's coming next. The one that shocked me the most is if you, because they've added a new feature to the game, which I know Josh is familiar with. If you lose combat but you make your morale test, you don't run, you give ground. This is a new thing they didn't used to have. So if you beat me in combat and I don't flee, I give ground, which means I move my unit back 2 inches. You then have the option to follow up. You just move them back into contact with me, or you can make a leadership test to stay where you are, right, and not follow up. And then we just break. Basically, you just push me off, and we like break combat because you just like get out of here, like, and you just shove them back. Which makes sense in the concepts of like medieval combat, because that's kind of what they were doing. Is they were just pushing each other around, but they never represented that in the game before. But you know what happens if you would be pushed back and you get pushed into terrain? Do you know what happens?
No.
You just stop. You don't go into the terrain. Same thing if you would be pushed into a unit. You just stop. If you would touch another unit or get within an inch of an enemy, you just stop instead. If they push you to the board edge, you die.
Oh.
They shove you out of play, and you're just gone. It's like, what? Like, it's surprising. It's like, so you can't push me into a shrub, but the end of the world, you just yeet me into oblivion. Like, what the fuck? That was so weird. And so it was very surprising. But yeah, that was the one that surprised me the most. There's a rule. There's a bunch of rules I don't like.
I actually kind of like that. The whole idea is if you lose combat, because that means one of my least favorite thing about all Warhammer games is the line, 3 centimeters away from the backboard edge, where you're just like, here's all my archers, or here's all my guns, or whatever, and you just stack them all on the very back edge. Because why would you give any more inches when your range is 48 or some dumb shit? So,
well,
it's kind of cool.
In this game, your range is commonly not that far, but some things do have massive range, right?
Right.
I don't know if War Machines can fall back. I didn't focus too hard on that.
Ruh-roh.
But usually, if you get into melee combat with a War Machine, they're dead anyway. Like they're just little people. Like they're just gonna get butchered.
Oh, there's not like a big chaos demon engine or some shit that also.
There is, but its crew is 3 chaos dwarves. That's the crew, and so you just have to kill them, and nobody's firing it anymore.
Oh, there's not like a demon living cannon or something like in this game.
I mean, I think it's alive, but War Machines, if you kill their crew, they die.
Oh, that's just the general rule. Is it's a War Machine?
The whole concept is that they're weak to melee. That's the whole point. The one exception that kind of comes to mind is the steam tank from Empire, but it's really just a tank that happens to have a cannon on it, as opposed to like a cannon that is a tank.
Mm-hmm.
So it can do all kinds of crazy shit. But
yeah, not gonna lie. Every time I hear about a tank in something like this setting, I go like a steampunk list would be fun. Like I'm guessing you can only have one tank in your list, but that would be fun.
I used to be able to take 2 steam tanks, but that was the max.
Oh,
I guess I can check.
2 steam tanks.
They're expensive too. Like it's not nothing to put one on the table.
Oh, yeah. I assume it's kind of dumb.
Rare steam tank is 265 points. So yeah, you can't take 2 of them at 2,000 points because you can only have 25% of your list be rare choices. So you'd have to be playing like 2,500.
Oh, jeez.
Which is not like that's not crazy. It's just above average.
And actually, there's a thing going on right now where it's only one streamer, but he runs the biggest, most events in the world, and they've started to do comp, where certain armies can run more than 2,000 points because they are not as good, and they want you to play with more toys. And one of those is Empire, because Empire's not very good, and he goes, fuck it. Why wouldn't I let you take 2 steam tanks? That's rad. Cool. Do it.
Right.
Yeah, so you'd only have to get to like 2,100 to get 2 teams of steam tanks.
Yeah.
So
he's doing so you're saying he's doing like handicap points.
Yeah. Like so he's giving you a bonus. He's just giving you more points.
Yeah, Skaven can bring 2,600 points because Skaven are that bad currently in Old World.
What?
Yeah, there's a whole thing to it.
That blows my mind. Why are they so... What? Really?
Because
they're usually beloved, and they're usually never behind the curve. That kind of blows my mind.
They're very popular, but because they
are a legacy army, though?
They're a legacy army. They are not receiving points or any updates. And there is the Renegade pack, and I believe he will dabble with rules. He will not touch points. Because how GW points has never actually been understood. It's some secret math they have. So he's like, I'll just dabble with rules because those are easy and I can make those fair, but points are whatever.
It's also just really hard to start messing with points as a separate document.
Yeah.
All he's really doing with the Renegade packet is just like FAQ kind of stuff.
Yes.
Very rarely is he actually going in and editing the text. He's usually just saying like, this does not stack, or this does stack, or this guy can buy this thing that he should obviously be able to buy.
Mm-hmm.
He's not going through and saying, like, let's just redesign this rule. Like, that's obviously a lot of testing and stuff. So I like what he's doing, because they're all very light touches. As far as the points adjustment thing, I don't think that's a bad idea in a vacuum. Obviously, you wouldn't want to start adopting that for, like, major events and stuff, but it's something interesting to do within like a league or a campaign or something to, test the waters on how good or bad something particularly is.
I will be, like I said, I'll be curious because he runs the biggest and most events. He runs like 2 or maybe 3 a month, and he's going to start doing it at his tournaments and see how it plays out. I'm trying to find it.
It seems like that just seems not even bad. It seems like a no-brainer, right? if this is not like an official anything and people are just kind of doing this in their backyard, it seems like anybody should be able to say, like, yes, this is better if we have this very simple handicap system, because it seems baked into a points-based game, right?
I do like, especially in this, that it's just easier because it's such a large amount of granularity you can have on points. Like, you can say like 150 extra points. It sounds like a lot, but if you're looking at 2,000 as a base number, it's really not. You're not even talking about like 10% yet.
Yeah.
Like, it's a small adjustment. Whereas like MCP, it's like, oh, well, we'll just say that Sentinels get 2 extra threat. Well, that's different because, you know, not only are you talking about a less granular point system, so that 2 points can allow things that were never possible for your opponent, but also you can take non-affiliated stuff. Like, oh, well, I'm going to just put that 2 points into Thanos. Well, that's a completely different game, right? Like, we're not even playing Sentinels anymore.
Yeah.
And so shit like that can happen that was clearly not meant to. In something like this, it's a lot more stable.
Yeah.
Because you're just slightly increasing the percentages.
Yeah, exactly.
Or, like, maybe you could just go through and just change a 1 to a 2 somewhere. It's like, hey, instead of taking 0 to 1 of this, you can have 0 to 2 to this, which changes the landscape of your army.
Yeah, it looks like 2,400 points for Empire of Man is what the comp states.
Yeah,
that'd be interesting to see.
That's cool. Are you guys going to be using some of that around the shop, or are you just...
No, we're just... I mean, we don't even know how to play the fucking game yet.
Yeah, I'm still...
I thought you know all the words. I
read all the rules. I know how to use them.
Oh.
Like, I've only played against Wood Elves, played by somebody else who barely knows the rules. And then I got a learner game against Orcs and Goblins, and I think we got a bunch of stuff wrong. Because, again, I don't know my rules well enough to enforce them on my opponent, so we're missing stuff left and right. And so, yeah, I don't think we've played an even close to good representation of the game yet. But so far, there's one rule that I hate more than any other rule, but also I kind of understand why it's the way it is.
Which one?
You cannot make your full complement of attacks unless you are in base contact with an enemy. I understand the reasoning for it, but man, it seems really punitive for specific things and not for others. Because if you just have a massive horde of dudes that have a reasonable speed, you can get so many attacks on somebody. Like, let's say you have used an elf spearman. It's like, they basically... Don't elves have, like, effectively strike first anyway, or do they just have the +1 initiative?
They have super high initiative. I think they have the highest initiative, sort of like some special units.
I think they're either base 4 or base 5, and they also get an additional +1 on the first round of combat.
Yeah.
But anyway, so you can have spears that give you an extra rank. CJ was saying one of his units of spears gives an additional rank beyond the normal amount. I don't know if that's a normal thing they can get.
Sounds correct in like a specific rule.
Right, so you normally fight in 2 ranks with infantry. So that you would be fighting in 4 ranks. Plus their speed 5. And so you basically have 5 inches to the sides of both of your units. So let's say I'm engaging you, and you have a 5 model frontage with 25 mil bases. Your unit is 5 inches across. My unit can be 15 inches across and fighting 4 ranks deep. And they all get their full complement of attacks. But if you just have, like, a weird unit that just happens to have a lot of attacks per model, and you just miss corner to corner somewhere, it's like, now that model dropped from like 6 attacks to 1. And so it's just like, it could just be overly punitive for specific things, which is odd. And I also don't like that you can't just like move characters, because this used to be a rule in fantasy. If a character's in a unit, that unit gets engaged in combat, people make way so he can make base contact. You never had characters that weren't in base contact in combat. And so it's just weird, because if your model is on a flank, like on the front right corner of your unit, and you get charged in the flank, everyone gets out of the way so he can get into melee. But if you get charged in the front, they just don't do that. And so it's weird.
Yeah, from what I understand, hopefully there's a lot of cleanup that will come on down the line. So, because there's a lot of little rules where it's like, okay.
Yeah. And obviously, knowing about it, you can take steps to prevent that issue. Like, you just put your characters in the middle of the unit, so it's way less likely that will happen. And also, like, again, if you have 2 people that are kind of fumble fucking their way through the game, you'll do a lot of things wrong, which will lead you to really weird situations, which then are punitive because you were never meant to get in this spot. And so it is kind of a big learning curve for the game, which is semi-unfortunate, but the game is very complex because it's just harder to play a game that has very restrictive movement. Obviously, if everyone could just move freely in 360 degrees, you don't need that many rules. You say move at the opponent. That's all you need to say, right?
Yeah.
Like instead of, well, you can make one wheel during your charge, and it can be after you start moving or before you start moving. If there's terrain in the way, how do you navigate? You have to explain all of it word by word, and so it's very like wordy and intensive to understand. And also, the writers of the rules are not the best. There's so many times that there's just redundant statements because they don't know how to put what they're trying to say into words and make it foolproof.
So we need to jump it in, Parker.
I don't know, actually, at this point. Tyler's
in.
That surprises me not at all.
Can't wait for Dave to be in. Dave's already in. Dave was born in.
Yeah, Dave was. He's got like infinite feet, each one in a different game. Like he's just he's always in the pool. I was on the fence between.
Oh my god.
What?
We can call him the centipede, and he'll never get why.
Yep. Done.
He will never understand why we call him the centipede.
Ship it. You struck gold.
It's done.
Stop digging. I was on the fence between Old World and Flesh and Blood, and I played a game. I played a game of Flesh and Blood, and was just very, very, very excited about it again. And so this weekend, I sit down with Aaron. And I was like, Aaron, I'm ready to pull the trigger. Teach me how to not spend too much money on Flesh and Blood, because Aaron is Captain Frugal and master of patience when it comes to that kind of stuff. And so he showed me his ways, and I lucked, because that's how I win things, is I just lucked into one guy selling two different decks that are exactly what I wanted. And with incredibly minimal effort, not low amount of money because it's Flesh and Blood. There's no such thing as a cheap Flesh and Blood deck. But on definitely the cheaper side, and for a deep discount, I was able to get in Flesh and Blood. Not so deep, though, that I think I can still now afford to play another minis game right now. I'll probably have to wait a little while, which doesn't bug me, because every time I think about playing a game titled Warhammer in any way, I usually get really, really excited, and I jump in for a couple $100, and then I play 3 games and go, ugh, and I sell the army. I struggle to appreciate the gameplay. I love the armies. I love like setting it up. Like literally, if you told me that I could just build dioramas out of models, I would probably enjoy that hobby more. Because the games I just don't get a lot of enjoyment out of, I have found. But maybe, because this sounds like a new game, a different game, you've read all the words, maybe I would appreciate it more than I have in the past. We'll see. But I do appreciate Flesh and Blood a whole lot, and so I pulled the trigger on that first. You asked the question, when am I getting in? And so the answer is after I recoup some of my investment. Yeah.
Soon.
Yeah. And the other cool thing about...
So you want me to go ahead and print the Treeman people? That way you can just get a head start. And it'll be easy to start.
Don't do that.
Like, think about it. By the time you get them done painting, and you finish the paint jobs, you'll be ready to order the rest of the elves.
Don't do that. I was actually really impressed and super pleased because Flesh and Blood is super not cheap enough. I was like, I have like a gaming budget that my wife's like, buy whatever you want as long as you stay within this budget. And this was going to not blow the budget wide open, but just take a huge chunk out of the yearly budget, right? All at once. And I didn't want my wife to be upset if that happened. And so I told her about it and how much it was. And you know why she didn't really blink? She has been drawing Lorcana. And as we've been like collecting Lorcana, she's like, this game you're talking about, Flesh and Blood, is it like Lorcana? I go, it is a similar in concept, but there are a couple key differences. One of the main ones being the cards are a lot more expensive because they're more persistent. Like there's an expectation that you get to use them for longer. And so it's a lot more expensive. And so when I told her the price tag, she's like, oh, that is a lot more expensive, but I get it now. Like that was the end of the conversation, just because she's done enough like searching and shopping in this kind of hobby. She just gets it now. She's less she's less upset now, which is super cool thing I did not anticipate happening when she started.
I've been your dealer effectively for close to a decade now,
yeah.
So I know what your gaming budget used to be, which was set the money on fire and then put it with your other money. That was equivalent to your gaming budget. So I remember when you're like, I should probably not keep spending like this.
Yeah.
It's just like, what if I just bought a playset of all of Star Wars Destiny today? What if I did that? You're like, it's like, stop it, Parker.
Yeah, stop it. You are.
So I know it couldn't have been that much. I want to guess how much you spent on 2 Flesh and Blood decks.
Okay.
And maybe Josh will join me, and then whoever gets closest we'll get to pick your next game.
Okay.
No.
I'm gonna bet you spent $425.
Okay.
I'm going to bet $550.
Ooh, bold.
So Josh was closer, and he was actually.
Oh no!
He was actually very close. It was $580. Is how much it was.
Wow, you spent more than I expected.
I would not. They were not starter decks. They're absolutely like the finished.
No, I get it. Yeah.
I assume you custom built them.
The guy
like
I custom
you got
built
the cards that you wanted instead of like.
So I actually custom built them I custom built 2 decks first, and then, like I said, I was super lucky. One of the websites that Aaron has been perusing of people who are selling things secondhand, so not TCG Player, was just like he totally randomly had a few more cards that I had in my set, which is not a bad thing because you have some cards to play around with. And he just happened to have those 2 decks nearly what I wanted exactly, with some extra stuff for cheaper than what I could get the original concepts on TCG Player.
Yeah, so you got the bulk discount.
Yeah. So I was very, very pleased. When I described it to Aaron, I was actually super nervous because the number is a big number, right? And I'm like, I have been burnt in the past. I've jumped in too hard. Aaron, this is what I found. What do you think? He said, wait a minute. And he kind of looked at him and he kind of did some TCG Player math, and he was like, buy this now. But buy this right now. I don't want to buy it because I don't want to play these decks exactly because you want to play them. But if you didn't want to play these decks, I might buy them. And I was like, okay. He was very adamant that they were good plans. So I'm excited. So in 2 weeks, I'll be a Flesh and Blood player also. We'll see how that goes.
Nope. I know how you are. You're gonna not make it in time for the tournament repeatedly.
I don't know. We're gonna see how it goes. We'll see. I do like the concept of I've never played a TCG that had enough people actively playing that weekly events were a thing, right? I know everybody's ever played Magic. It's like, you've never played a thing like that. I go, no, I didn't. I never got into a game that had that much frequency. The frequency was that high.
You've been in a game that had the community size for it, but there was just never we play on this day and people actually show up.
Right.
For a brief period, you were doing Destiny on, I think it was Mondays, and there was 6 or 8 people showing up every week.
Right.
Flesh and Blood was that for a long time. There was 4 to 8 people for 2.5 years, and then finally it started picking back up again. A lot of people have gotten back into the game or just started traveling to the geekery more.
Yeah. I'm excited to take my first foray. I'm also very pleased with what I was staring at everything for a long time, playing games and trying to figure out what I wanted, and it was actually really nice. Basically, playing Jeremy and Aaron were both really awesome with their time and being willing to let me try stuff. And basically, what I found out was I didn't want to do what they were doing, and that was like, yay! Which is a really cool thing, right? Because to look at their cards and the concepts, the art, a lot of the stuff looks super appealing, right? That's a really cool concept for a character or a deck. But then actually piloting it, I was like, oh no, this is not what I want. I want something else. And so it was nice to learn what I didn't want, and so I was able to be much more sure about what I did, which is rare, very rare for a game. Really cool that we have a community around here that was excited to just let me peruse and try a whole bunch of stuff.
Mm-hmm.
And I think it's kind of interestingly baked into Flesh and Blood because everyone knows what a huge energy of activation that game takes because it's hyper complex. Typically fairly competitive, people that gravitate towards it are more competitive, and so you're going to lose. You're going to be on the bottom side of that learning curve for a long time, and the price tag is just a huge starting tag. Everybody just kind of agreed that, yeah, we'll let everybody try everything because the commitment to this is not like some other games that you can just drop in for $100 with a starter box and start playing with people.
I think anytime you have a community that's been in a game for more than like 3 years, they tend to realize that if they don't keep the game going, it won't keep going. Mm-hmm. And so anytime you go to a community where, like, Commander is the same way. If you walk into a room, it's like, hey guys, I'm interested in starting Commander, 8 people will offer you a deck, like, to try. And it's the same with miniatures games a lot of time too. Like, the concept of like going from like a super competitive card game where people don't lend cards, and then going to a miniatures game, like, and then somebody lends you an army to play with.
Right.
It's like the concept of that is so ridiculous. Like, not only are you looking at probably over $1,000 in product that they just handed you, but also uncounted hours of attention and love that they put into their hobby pieces so that you can try a game for the first time. Like, the trust and investment that goes into lending something like that is obviously huge. Mm-hmm. And so it is a big deal that people are willing to lend stuff to new players to try things, but without it, you wouldn't have these communities that we have.
Right. What I probably need to do, once I feel like I have the budget for Old World, because I think I will, I probably just need to sit down with the army books and just get excited. That's what I used to do for minis games. Is I just need to sit down with the army books.
I'm telling you, you should just start now.
The Squarebase podcast is the one I listen to, and they do full army breakdowns of all of it, both as like a competitive lens and like what is cool. And I really like theirs because I could not choose. I mean, I knew what army I was going to choose, but I tried to fool myself and be like, no, like I'll give them all a fair shake. It could be it could be anything. Like I could have chosen anything. But I sat and like watched all their videos, and then I was like, okay, it's gonna be this. It's gonna be the orcs for sure. So
as someone who played orcs and goblins for a decent amount of time, I think they are one of the most flexible armies, and this is true of Blood Bowl as well. They're one of the most flexible lists, and also one of the more transformative lists. Like the sheer number of unit options they have is staggering. Like. And sometimes you can even make do with like using the same units. Like the difference between taking a unit of Night Goblins and taking a unit of Night Goblin Bowmen, and then taking a unit of Night Goblins with Fanatics, and then taking a unit of Spider Eyes. Like we're still in the same fraction. And it's like then you take like the Savage Goblins, and like there's just so many types of units you can have that are fundamentally the same thing over and over again. And then you can like, all right, well now I'm going to take orcs, and then I'm going to take Savage Orcs, then I'm going to take Black Orcs, then I'm going to take, Chariots, I'm going to take all these artillery pieces. I have all these different cavalry units I can choose from, and then I have multiple different types of casters and fighty heroes. Then I have monsters I can include. It's like there's this endless number of things that are in the horde of Orcs and Goblins. Mm-hmm. Where then you go to some other things, like Warriors of Chaos, there's like, they have like 2 fucking core units. Like, yeah. Okay.
And see, that's kind of what I'm doing too, is I like the idea of the nomadic wall as like a lore perspective, but also just like, yeah, dude, everything is writing something, and it all wants to run really fast at your opponent. I was like, sign me up. Like my first 40k army that I actually built out was
Cult of Speed.
Cult of Speed, and I had everyone on war bikes or in trucks, and I was like, yes, I'm gonna run at you really fast. But I like it too because most of my stuff I can just like later down the line just like, cool, I add a unit of Black Orcs or Orcs, and I can just play normal Orcs without all the fancy like defined or confined list building things. So I am excited. They call to me. I've been playing them in Warhammer 3 to get myself in the right mentality.
Anyway, Parker, so the reason I said you should start now is because I know you, and I know you'll get overwhelmed if you try to put like an entire army together in a weekend. And I think you would be much like, think about like the monetary investment of like, I'm going to get one unit and build it, and then maybe even fucking paint it. And you're like, okay, well that's a month of effort if you paint it, and it's going to cost you reasonably low amounts of money for a month of hobby project. And then when you get done with that one, get the next unit and just start building it. And that way, while you're preparing for the dive, you're making headway as opposed to not.
That's interesting.
You are correct. Chipping away at the mountain.
You are correct. I have never once done a minis game like that. I always just I wait and 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 then I dive hard, heavily, because that's what I want to do. I want to be considerate and then lowbrow. But it's so many. I know that's not the way most people do minis. Most people do. I will buy one model and then slowly 2 models and then 3 models and then some way down the line. Look, you have an army.
Yeah, I call them filthy casuals. Everyone buys $1,000 of minis at a time. That's the increment they sell them in.
I've been slowly building mine up because I want to paint it, and I know if I have too much gray, I'm already freaking out about all the Trench Crusade stuff I have to paint. I'm just like, I want it painted. There's no time, so I'm trying to paint up.
I was in college and I called 31st Century from Oklahoma City, and I was like, hey, I'm going to be there in 2 weeks. I need 25 boxes of Imperial Guard infantry squads, 5 boxes of command squads, and 12 boxes of heavy weapon platoons. He's like, what? I was like, yeah, I'm going to be there with cash on the 17th. Have it ready, please. I literally picked up a 4.5-foot stack of GW boxes.
That's glorious.
Like, all right. And I went home, and because I got there on Friday, I got home Saturday night, and I had it all built Monday. I was like, let's go! Wow. And then I started painting, and that took a month.
I did that when I did Iron Jaws for Age of Sigmar. I went, and I was like, okay, I'm going to buy this and this and this. And then I was like, okay, well, if I buy 2 more boxes, I'm there. Yeah, okay, we can buy this one too. And so then I just walked out of the store with $700 worth of shit, and I was like, okay, cool.
Yeah.
Rad. Then my cat got sick, and I had to sell it all. So
gross.
Yeah.
Okay,
she knows she can never get sick again. So she got. I am a poor boy. And she got sick, and she got really sick. Burned through all of my savings, and I had to. It ended up costing me $4,000 to keep her alive, and so then I hit the point where I needed to borrow money, and I was like, okay, well, it's gonna take me too long to pay this back. I'm just gonna sell stuff, even at half cost, to get enough to be able to just pay back as much as I can. So.
Man, that is a big heart. That's a lot of money for.
That's my cat. It's just been me and her for 11 years. So, and she is trying. She's an old lady cat now. She's trying her damnedest to cost me as much money on the way out. She has arthritis now, so I have to buy arthritis medicine and because of the sickness she had, because she had a really bad infection. I have to buy special food that I can't go to the store to buy. I literally have to have a veterinarian write off on it to be able to buy it. And it's $100 a bag. And so I'm like, okay.
Jesus.
Damn. At least cats don't eat that much.
She doesn't eat that much, no.
Yeah.
But it's funny because that cat has literally never starved. And I got her when I was a poor college student eating noodles and potatoes to survive. And every time I feed that cat, you would think she's never eaten in her entire life. I was like, there were times I fed you and ate a bowl of rice for dinner so that I could save money to feed you. Let's chill out. Let's not vomit up the expensive food because you ate too fast, you stupid cat.
I bought those Imperial Guard models in 2010. About 2 weeks later, I got my dog from Oklahoma. I drove all the way down to the southern Oklahoma border to pick him up, and he is now 15 years old.
Hell yeah, dude!
Huskies don't usually live this long. I'm quite certain. I don't know. Look up husky average lifespan. Pretty sure they live to 10. This is saying a little bit longer. Yeah, Siberian husky 10 to 15. So he's at the high end. But everything I'd read before said they lived to 10 or 12. Anyway, he's on 2 different kinds of vitamin supplements now. So
I'm not gonna lie, Brandon.
Stiff.
I'm not gonna lie, Brandon. When I was over at your house the other day, and your big dog was there. I don't know what came over me, but like just getting to pet a big dog and like squeeze him and like I don't know what it is about tapping a big dog on the side of his chest, that like the noise that feels. Yeah. And I was just like, oh my gosh, I miss big dogs. I have always loved big dogs, and I have only had them, when I lived with my parents, and I did that till I was like 20. But my dad always has had a great big dog, and it's always been my favorite part of living with my parents is the great big dog. Man, I missed it, and so it was nice to be a dog uncle for just like 5 minutes the other day, because big dogs, they're just so much fun.
That's my roommate's dog, Bear. He is a giant goofball.
Yeah,
he's adorable and very affectionate and very friendly, but he doesn't know how to mediate his excitement yet. So
that sounds like every big dog I've ever met. They're just like, hey man, I know I weigh 150 pounds. I'm going to jump and crawl on you. I hope and lick your face. I hope you're okay with this.
He's actually really good with new people. He doesn't get overly excited around new people. It's just with Alex, my roommate. He goes absolutely apeshit when Alex is around. And so
that is true, actually. I noticed he was very
when we met you, he wanted to smell you a lot, but he wasn't jumping on you.
He was interested and friendly, but he was not overly excited. Not at all.
No, yeah, he's a very good dog. Anyway, let's just, for the rest of the cast, try and force Parker to pick a faction. It's gonna be great.
Okay, we could do like word association.
Yeah. The problem is,
all right,
Spears. What do you think? Go, Parker.
Yeah.
What?
Spears. Too fast. You're taking too long. Spears. What pops to mind?
Spears.
Say the first word.
Spears. A glaive. Glaive.
Okay.
That is incorrect.
What else?
Damn.
This is what, if you guys do this kind of thing, Brandon's just going to say no.
They changed it. I was actually, before I said it on the podcast, I wanted to look it up to make sure. They no longer are called Goblin Spear Checkers. They changed the name to Spear Throwers.
Yeah.
They had the most unfortunate names in the old fantasy books.
Yeah.
It was the Night Goblin Spear Checkers and the... God, it was so stupid.
That's
My favorite unit name, though, was the Savage Orc Boar Boy Biggins. Was my favorite unit name. They're like a bunch of badasses too. They're fucking great.
No, that's actually because back in the day, and we've talked about this, Brandon. There was the store next to AMC in Olathe.
That was Battlezone. Yeah,
Battlezone. And that's how I'd like kind of known what Warhammer was, but we had to kill time to go to a movie. And I asked my dad, I was like, can we go to that store over there? And I went in, and I just, like, I saw Warhammer, and it's glory for the first time. Yeah. I was like, this is the coolest fucking thing I've ever seen. Mm-hmm. And so I bought a unit of High Elf Silverhelms. Zach got a unit of Dark Elf Dread Spears. And then we got, like, the books, and I was reading through it. I was like, okay, this is pretty cool. And so I went on what would have been the early online back then. I'm like reading through the lore. And I remember when I found the Orcs and Goblin page and read through it, I was like, this is so cool. This is the singular greatest thing I've ever read. It's so fucking stupid. This is nonsense, but it's beautiful. And I have been sold ever since then.
You see, I don't know. I know... I got a bunch of old world books at one time, like old. You guys do like half price books. You just be able to find codexes there all the time.
Mm-hmm. And so I got a bunch of my D&D books there too.
Yeah, and so I got like a Bretonia and the Vampire Counts and Empire and Wood Elves and High Elves and Lizardmen. I remember getting all those, and I just poured over those books over and over and over and over again. This would have been in like early college, right? And so I know so much about some of the things, but I never once found lore about the Orc and Goblin tribes in Old World. Are they just 40k again, or is there anything more interesting than that?
They're not the overly goofy, really. Actually, they're almost not goofy at all. Mm-hmm. They're very brutal.
Okay.
Yes, they've changed the tone to far more sinister.
Okay.
Yeah, they're not like, ooh, our rockets go boom. No, they're 100%. We're going to murder you in your sleep.
Yeah,
like,
take all your stuff.
They're still orcs, and
eat
so
your
they're
children,
goofy, but
and then
but they're not like they're not jokes of themselves like they're in 40K.
Yeah. Okay.
It's more that like they're mean towards each other is like the comedy.
Yeah, because in 40K, it's kind of the joke is that they are absolutely terrifying, but they're never characterized as such, and so you kind of have to train yourself to think of orcs as scary in 40K. But you're saying it's kind of the opposite. In the orcs and goblins.
Actually, I would
more
say
like
if anyone, I think the Skaven are supposed to be the comic relief in fantasy, if I recall.
I would agree with that because they're very much like,
and the Lizardmen, the skinks specifically.
Yeah,
because their names are like Tic Tac Toe and shit.
Yeah. Skaven are more of the like, I built this bomb. It blew up in my hands, like that. And orcs and goblins are like, we came here to fucking fight, and we're gonna do that now.
Because originally orcs were not the comic relief of 40K. That was a change that happened in 3rd edition when Andy Chambers like rewrote their whole concept. Actually, I think it was late 2nd maybe. It was basically moving into 3rd edition. Andy Chambers just completely revamped what we know as orcs, and they went from space orcs to orcs. And that's when they just became basically the comic relief of the game. But Warhammer Fantasy orcs are what the original orcs in 1st and 2nd edition were based on. And so they're just orcs. They're just medieval orcs.
Yeah, like high fantasy, traditional, super scary pillagers.
It is much more Tolkien orcs than GW.
Mm-hmm. Okay.
So the picture I just posted in the podcast chat is an old metal figure from GW called Azag the Slaughterer.
Yep.
I bought that guy the day he came out, and he weighed like 5.5 pounds. I'm not kidding. When you set him down on the table would lean. Like he's just solid pewter. That guy is
buy
so
that
heavy.
model again in a heartbeat.
Yeah,
absolutely. That's actually once I get my army painted and done, that's going to be my treat. Is the orc boss on Wyvern model, because I love it and I want it, but I need a goal to work towards. So.
I'm curious. Oof.
The other one I really want is Gorbad Ironclaws, or is it Gorbad Ironclaw? What's his name?
Grimgor Ironhide?
No.
Yeah, don't be stupid.
Gorbad Ironclaw. Look up his model.
First, do you want to? I found one. Is this metal? Does they say he's metal? I only found one on eBay.
Let me guess.
How much do you think he costs?
I'm going to guess.
If it's resin, I'm going to be disappointed.
$450.
That's not outrageous, but it is high.
I have looked up obscure Warhammer models that it's like, hey, these aren't in print. They haven't been in print in 25 years. How much? And people are like, yeah, new in box, $500.
This one's painted acceptably. Yeah, I wouldn't say it's good. I would say it's acceptable. But in U.S. currency, it is $398.27 plus $22.50 shipping.
Mm-hmm.
So you're
for buy or for bid?
For buy.
Okay.
Now the question is it the fine cast version, which is made of plastic and dog shit, or is it the metal one? And it does not seem to say.
The one they don't let you
I don't
take
know
on
if
the
you
airplane.
Did you ever buy a fine cast model?
Yeah, I've got fine cast models.
They're the worst things ever invented by humans.
Because a lot of Lord of the Rings was fine cast.
Yeah.
And it was fucking ask CJ about whippy spears sometime. Just
it's
straight up be like, CJ, I like whippy spears, and he'll be like,
yeah, it's like you took heavy whipping cream, shaped it into the form of a model, and left out in the sun. That's the equivalent of the model quality you're getting. It's so terrible.
I'm trying to look over.
Anyway, I was just curious. Okay. So, Parker, why don't you... I'm just going to go down, and you're just going to tell me how interested, yay or nay, you are on these armies. Beastmen of Chaos.
Do you want to give me like a number, or just like...
No, just thumbs down.
Thumbs down. Thumbs down.
Yes or no? Okay, no. Chaos Dwarves.
Way down. The lowest.
Way down.
I cannot stand that faction. I think
the coil beards.
I think it is so stupid. I think it is beyond stupid.
Parker, the hats.
Well, I mean, this was the peak of technology during the Cold War when they were designed.
I think they are so dumb. Continue.
That's fair. It's a love-hate situation.
Can I thumbs down Parker's thumbs down? Is that allowed?
No, you can't.
No,
okay.
You cannot.
You can't triple stamp a double stamp.
Demons of Chaos.
I'll give them thumbs up.
Dark Elves.
Probably thumbs down.
Dwarfs.
Thumbs up.
I already knew you were going to say yes. Empire of Man.
If you would have asked,
like your Mordheim warband,
yeah,
basically played.
I was gonna say, if you would have asked me that like a long time ago, I would have said absolutely not. But there are some things about it. It's kind of like Orcs, where I could make it like I wanted to, and I think that's kind of cool. You could go like the holy route, you get like the Sigmarite route, or you could go the tech route, or you can go the wizard route. I'm gonna give them a thumbs up. I think it's cool.
Grand Cathay. Do you want to play Shang-Chi? Just say no.
I'm gonna say no. Yeah.
Yeah.
There's something of it. No.
Good. Thank God.
Shut
up, Josh.
This close to High Elves.
Bertonia.
I'm actually gonna say yes. I wouldn't say no to Bertonia. I would have to probably get alternative models. I don't like the big cloaky horses, but like armored horses, I think that'd be cool.
Lizardman. I'm gonna put that on.
Yeah. Yes. Love me some lizards.
Ogre Kingdom.
I'm going to say yes, actually. I think it could be really fun. It would be like playing skirmish version of this game because you're just like you bring the model count way down. But I think it could. I do like their aesthetic a lot.
It is a little. You could bring a decent amount of units though.
Yeah.
Because like their minimum unit size is like 3 guys. So even though like they're like 40 something points each, usually you can get a unit on the table for like 120 points.
I think.
And so it's like. And then you also have access to Noblars and some other stuff.
I think if my math is correct, because I love ogres, I love ogre kingdoms, they're the army you can bring the least amount of models or the most amount of models. Because Noblars are 2 points apiece.
And isn't there a max on them, though?
They are core. So the max...
Sometimes, though, it has to be like you have to have equal points of something
It could be people memeing, but the max that I saw was someone was like, you could not legally deploy this army because you would fill the entirety of your deployment zone and there would be no more room for you to put Noblars.
Yeah. Okay, so I'm just going to start duplicating units and see if it yells at me. Oh, so far no. Yeah, no. So yeah, you can take as many as you want. Yeah.
2 points apiece.
Yeah, you just need to buy a character with a leadership score. The cheapest character is a butcher, which costs 105 points. Yeah, so you would have...
And then 600 Nobblers.
Right. No, it's way more than that.
It's more. It's like 780 or something. A lot more.
No, so you have 1,895 points divided by 2. You would have 947 Nobblars and a butcher. It's technically a legal army.
Beautiful.
So they are on, I think they're on 20 mil bases. You could get a lot of them on the table. It depends on the deployment of the mission, but you have usually 6 square feet to deploy in. That's a lot of units. Anyway, so ogres are on the list?
Yeah, ogres are on the list.
Orcs and goblins.
I'm actually going to say no. And that's really just because I don't. A thumbs down. And that's not a negative thing. I just don't know them and I'm not excited to know them.
Skaven.
I'm going to say yes. Another one of those that...
Stuff.
Yeah.
Tomb Kings.
Yes.
Vampire Counts.
I'm going to say no.
Warriors of Chaos.
Yes. I have mostly yeses. That's one of the problems.
What else?
Yeah, I guess they're the only players I play. Because I really love the Treemen. I don't like Wood Elves that much, but I really love the Treemen.
Gotcha. Okay. So that puts us to Demons, Dwarves, Empire, Bretonnians, Lizardmen, Ogres, Skaven, Tomb Kings, Warriors, and what else?
Ugh.
I don't think you need to refine this. I think it's good. Just play these. That's the thing, though. I totally agree. It's like, dude, every one of the old world armies, if you're like, you can only play this army, I'm like, I'd be annoyed.
Yeah.
And but I'd probably still play some games. Like, they're all of them are cool and well thought out.
Yes.
As we're like 40k, you're like, what's your interest in playing Harlequins? -30.
Yeah.
You're like, what's your interest in playing Eldar? It's like 5 out of what? 100. Like, fuck off.
Yeah, of those, I would say the one I know the least about to get excited would probably be the demons of chaos. I don't know a lot about them in Warhammer. I know a lot about them in 40k. Are they the same models?
They're literally the same.
Yeah,
well, they're the same people,
same lore, same models.
No, like that's the thing. Is like
demons.
It's they're from the warp and the old world, the planet of I don't know what they call it. Is
Mundus.
Yeah. It is in the 40k universe. It's just not in the area that 40k happens in. And so since they're drawing from the warp...
That's Elder Scrolls.
It's literally the same demons. Do what?
That's the Elder Scrolls world. That's entirely wrong, listeners. I'm stupid.
Just never listen to Josh.
Yeah, never listen.
So yeah, like, you can bring the same characters, like the Changeling, I believe, is like one of the characters in the Tzeentch Demons. Mm-hmm. You can play him in both games. Because they're literally being drawn from the same place in the warp.
Malice.
It's still Khorne, it's still Tzeentch, it's the same people.
Yeah. I would probably say they are the most on the rim.
Yeah. Until Lord Kaldor Drago comes out of the rift and starts killing all the old ancient people.
Another one that kind of surprised me after I started reading about their lore, and I just think that's a cool concept, is the Tomb Kings, actually. I think the Tomb Kings are a really cool concept. The only problem with the Tomb Kings, to me, is that I think aesthetically, a bunch of skeletons are just kind of bland. I know that seems really obvious, but they just are kind of bland. But the characters and the Egyptian theme is so cool. But a lot of their models, I think, are really bland because they're just skeletons. But some of their stuff is so cool. That's one of the reasons why I don't want to play Age of Sigmar with a 20-foot pole. But I think their version of the Tomb Kings with the weird hyper bones,
the bone reapers,
the bones as skin almost. It was really weird look, but I think it is cool. I think they did a really interesting
as someone who has built all of the old Tomb Kings models, I will tell you they're hammered dog shit.
Yeah.
They are the worst things ever to fucking build.
Yeah.
The unit of skeleton horsemen made me basically almost quit Warhammer Fantasy back in the day. It was like, this is the dumbest unit I've ever fucking seen. The only way to get this model to even close to stand upright is to leave the big plastic tabs on the horse feet connected to the slot base. And so you just have these giant slabs of plastic that are not horse leg shaped. They're just sticking up to the bottom of the horse feet, or else the models droop forward because their own legs can't support their weight. It's like when you have I don't know, it's like a snake head just leaning forward. So you have all these guys with spears and they're just leaning over and you can see their backs.
Yeah.
And they're all curled and sideways because the plastic warps over time.
Ugh.
It was so awful. And then it was terrible because the joints for the horses they're two pieces. They're 2-piece models. You just glue the 2 rib cages together at the spine and that's it. And so they're not at all posable, which is fine. You don't need the horse to be posable, but it's just such a horrible joint because the only way to hold the model is to hold it by the outside of the rib cage. And so it's all right, I need to glue it together, but I can't apply negative force to the inside. And the middle, it's not like it connects like this, where on top and on bottom when the ribs come together. No, it connects like a taco. So just like a taco shell, you crush it every time you try and pick up the model.
Oh,
and so you're I have to glue this together and just hope the glue holds and just set it down and wait. It's terrible.
That is awful. I could, kind of like you said, if you told me, here's a cool Tomb Kings alternative sculpt, somebody made some awesome sculpts online, but you have to play them, I'd be like, deal. That could be really cool to play Egyptian Kings, risen again. One of the I'm a weird sucker for, this is going to sound weird, but I'm a weird sucker for desert themes. I was so close to buying the Tallarn Raiders in 40k a long, long time ago when they had their own line, the Desert Horsemen guys. For some reason, I've always been a sucker for the desert-themed army. I don't even need it. Like I said, I don't need it to be humans. Tomb Kings count. And it's honestly a big draw. It's just that they're desert themed. I don't know what is always fascinating about me. I think I just love the aesthetic on the table. I think it's a cool concept.
I understand, Parker. I love steppe nomads. I don't know why. If I had gone farther in my college degree, I was looking at doing a master's at like over Genghis Khan and the Mongolians, and I just love the aesthetic of steppe nomadic cultures across the whole world. And so anytime, that's part of what they kind of got me with ogres. I was like, okay,
yes,
I like big beefy boys, and then it's like they've got like a steppe nomadic thing going on. And I was like,
right.
Fuck, these are cool. Okay.
Yeah.
So I understand. I get where you're coming from.
Yeah.
So guess which faction Tyler's interested in.
Guess which faction Tyler's interested in. Oh.
It's on your list.
I mean, I'm gonna guess he wouldn't do. I'm gonna pick one out of nowhere and say dwarves, just because I don't think he would do that. Okay.
Think opposite.
Opposite. What
Chaos
else?
dwarves.
It's not the opposite. Instead of the short people, it's the tall people.
It's the ogres? Oh, it's the ogres.
Yeah. And so I was looking for models for him because he was asking about alternate models. And so I found the Titan Forge people that we looked at previously. They do they call them the Crimson something. I can't remember what they're called, but they're ogre pirates. And so they've got like bell jar helmets and like anchors and stuff, and they look fucking rad. They ride like crocodiles instead of their weird like boar things. They're very funny. So he was looking at those guys.
That is cool.
Okay, so we're gonna go through. I've split these into 3 categories. We have basically we have nature-based, technology-based, and evil. All right, so the first one is nature-based. We have ogres, lizardmen, and wood elves. Pick one.
Lizards. Not close.
Lizards. Okay. All right, Skaven, dwarves, empire, and Bretonnians for industrialized. We also start by just eliminating 2.
Okay, I just eliminate empire and Bretonnians. The Skaven and the dwarves are really close.
Cool. All right, now finally the evil races. We have Tomb Kings, warriors, and demons. Now I will say specifically on demons, I think they're the most flat of depth of army. Because within an army, you're basically going to choose a god most of the time. And once you choose a god, you have like 5 units to pick from. You've got like your core unit, your special, and maybe a rare, and then some heroes.
Of those 3, I think I just eliminate demons no matter what.
Yeah, I did already.
And I think it's honestly, it would probably come down. This is going to be really nitpicky. I think chaos would be fun because I've never once done them. That's the only reason, is that I've never once done that faction. But I also don't think I've ever done an undead faction. I think, but I would have to have better models. So if I could make it, like, I think it'd have to be like nearly 0 models from the Warhammer line to do Tomb Kings, which is probably means.
Yeah, and again, we're only looking at the armies, not the models right now.
Yeah. Okay. Well, if it's just the armies, without knowing exactly what all of them do, it's probably Tomb Kings. Actually, I think Tomb Kings would be more fun.
Okay. All right, so that puts us down to Lizardmen, Skaven, Dwarves, and Tomb Kings.
Lizardmen, Skaven, Dwarves, Tomb Kings. Of those 4...
Well, also, I just want to point out, I think we've landed on what we've talked about previously is there's crowning pieces or like truly unique assets that companies will acquire. And so I think that Lizardmen, Skaven, and Tomb Kings are all semi-unique. Like, Warhammer, the old world, has done Lizardmen better than any other, like, reptilian race of any other war game.
Not close. It's super cool.
Skaven, same. Like, Nezumi have existed for a long time. They were never Skaven. They're not were-rats. They're not Nezumi. They're truly unique.
Right.
The same with Tomb Kings. Tomb Kings, like, there's been Egyptian undead, there's been generic undead, but there's not quite Tomb Kings. Dwarves, as much as I love the dwarves from Old World, they're just Tolkien dwarves.
Yeah.
With a little bit of rune stuff added in. But they're just dwarves.
And I would say like the worst aspects of them like dialed up. There's like, they're more grumbly and more clannish.
Oh, I think that's the best part. Like, I think they've done dwarves about as well as you can do them in a miniatures game.
Dwarves are what I'm looking at next.
I'm honestly, here's the thing about dwarves. I love the aesthetic of dwarves, and the problem with them is they are the opposite of what I usually like to put on a table. Because the hyper immobile, super tough army bores me very quickly.
They're very much a stand and shoot army. They like to have enough guns to force you to come to them. And then they fight you when you get there.
What's really weird is that I gravitate towards that often, but there's one thing about it that I don't like. I do not like what that list does for my opponent, if that makes sense.
Mm-hmm.
I have come in my life to, in my like gaming career, to be if I made a choice that made my opponent like regret playing, I don't like the choice I made. Does that make sense?
Okay.
And that's for that reason I think dwarves are no fun, because I feel like some people see dwarves and they go ugh, like they immediately just sigh because they know what's going to be. And I don't like.
Yeah, I think anytime people play against shooting armies, it's kind of not fun because of the different war games. Fantasy is like meant to be the lowest technology level, and so you're not really expecting to get shot off the board before you like get there. But more specifically, your favorite thing generally is going to be what gets shot, because your favorite thing is going to be usually the thing they're most afraid of.
Yeah.
And so it's like, oh, look, I took my unit of chosen Chaos Knights, and then they take a cannonball to the face. You're like, fucking great.
Yeah.
You're like, I didn't even get to do anything with them, and that's definitely not fun.
Yeah, here's 3 organ guns. Enjoy this. Like, no, they're not going to enjoy this. It's the opposite of what they're going to enjoy. There was a time that I was totally fine playing Haley 1 and the gun line and just watching everything melt in front of me, and I thought that was wonderful, and that's no longer where I'm at.
So that puts us down to Skaven, Lizardmen, and Tomb Kings. I already know what you're going to pick. I knew before we started this what you're going to pick. I'm just forcing you to say it out loud. But how about this? I'm going to offer you an olive branch here. How about I'm just going to include this in this week's Mojo verse, and we're just going to have an additional section where it's like, what army should Parker play? And we'll just have a vote, and we'll just see what the numbers say. It's gonna be great.
Okay, yeah, leave it there. I won't. Yeah, let's leave it there. I think this is a fun exercise. Actually, I feel like this got close.
I liked it.
I feel like this got close because I think all 3 of these I would enjoy for different reasons. Yeah, all of them have one affiliation that I never looked too much into was the Skaven, but every single time I've ever seen a Skaven model, I always went, "Oh, that's fucking awesome!" Like, I don't care if it's just the little clan rat guy. I think it's fucking great.
They're fairly easy to paint based on the concept that they're mostly just brown.
Yeah.
And so you can kind of just leave stuff brown and nobody will notice.
Yeah. Yep. Even like the rat packs and the rat hordes and like monster rats, I think are so fucking cool. They've made some really cool monster rats, both like primary and secondary markets.
I saw a guy on Instagram that pretty much did an entire Skaven army just using the quick paints, and it actually turned out really well. He just like sprayed paint. He's like, cool, quick paints. So I did all the shading. Now he was also like, hey, I got to paint 120 clan rats, like a ton of stuff really quickly. And I was like, oh, cool.
I also think there's something really cool about the like heavily armored rats. I can't remember what they're called, but like the
storm vermin.
Storm vermin. Yeah, I think the aesthetic they picked for them is just really cool. And the Clan-Eshin rats, all the assassins. There are lots of things about them. My least favorite thing is probably just the standard non-armored like rat with sword or something. But yeah,
gutter stab boy.
Yeah, but all of the
Skaven interns.
Yeah, the Skaven interns, yeah. But the Plague Dudes, the Plague Dudes are super cool.
The prisoners with jobs.
The Horned Rats, all the like horned guys, the Horned Wizards, I think they're fucking cool too. Like there's not there's not one part of them that I'm not, which is similar to Lizardmen. There's not one thing that I'm like,
I want to bring this up. We talked about this in the Discord. Skaven slaves are gone.
Yeah.
Now, are they gone because they're a bad point of game balance, or are they gone specifically because the word slave is in their unit name?
We don't know. There has been it's really funny because if you've played Warhammer 3, Skaven slaves exist. There's an independent
tribunal trying to find this out right now.
In Warhammer 3, Skaven slaves exist as a unit. You can build them, right?
Okay.
You go on slave raids as the Dark Elves to fuel your economy.
Great.
The Chaos Dwarves, who are the most brutal slavers in the entirety of the lore, have laborers.
Nice.
There are no slaves. You have laborers.
You can go on slave raids as long as you have slaves to show for it at the end. That's fine.
You go on hiring sprees. That's what we call them. So no one knows really. The little bit, I hate to like repeat what another podcast said, but it kind of feels like a lot of the legacy armies were like 70% done, and then Old World came out the gate. And so they probably just looked at it and were like, okay, how do we balance 3-point rat models that have a thing and tons of them? What if we just don't? What if we don't?
I don't know that is it. I'd be really surprised. I do think that the legacy armies were a strong choice. That they're like, we don't want to invest in fully developing this game if we don't know if it's going to succeed. Because the popularity of the game has never been an issue for them. The entire existence of Warhammer Fantasy Battle has always been, the game is popular. The problem is it wasn't profitable. They couldn't convince people to buy new models. And that was always a problem. And that's why it ended up getting canceled. Mm-hmm. So I definitely see it as like a concept, because I don't know if you remember when they were going to do the Imperialis game for GW. It's basically Epic. Before it came out, they did the Titanicus game, which is basically a $300 starter set that comes with a bunch of Titans that are basically the same scale as Epic. And it was kind of them testing the water on if there was going to be enough interest on the Epic scale, and there kind of was, kind of wasn't. And then they've kind of been dropping stuff out. The problem is the price point of the models. Like, they want to sell these massive Epic armies, but then a Baneblade is $25, but it's 1/30th the size. You're like, why is it 1/6 the price? If it's only 1/30th the size, and it's like, can we fix this? Like, no, guess not. And so it's hard to justify buying that many models for a little tiny game that could be honestly just a lot cheaper. And that's just kind of sad. I mean, I don't know their logistical costs, so I'm not saying that they're gouging on it. I wish the game was affordable because it looks amazing, like visually on the table. I love seeing like massive armies of little dudes. I don't know why. That's why my brain broke.
What is the difference between a Legends army and an official army? Like, what's
Legacy army? Legacy army is an army that has not gotten full support yet. It's basically working on the equivalent of an index, if you've ever seen other GW games. Mm-hmm. It's like when they went from 7th edition 40k to 8th edition 40k. Everything didn't work. It wasn't compatible with the new rules. So they had to come out with indexes for everything, which is basically a get-by book. It's like, hey, you don't have an army book right now. Here's how your stuff works, but it doesn't have, like, all the lore in it. Like, how big is the average codex, do you think? Like 100, 200 pages, somewhere like that?
Maybe, yeah.
Yeah, so the Legacy Army book for Vampire Counts is 29 pages.
I see.
And so every page is information you need to know how to play the game. Every single page except for the cover page.
That's called Legacy.
And so, yeah, but it's basically just the army section.
Yeah.
And because of that, it's just less fleshed out. So you don't have as many magical items to buy. You don't have as many, like, customizable ability. You don't have, like, named characters. You don't have alternate armies. Like Josh was talking about his nomadic Wa. You don't have anything like that. You just have the one archetype army. But outside of that, it is well fleshed out. Like, I read through the Vampire Count book when somebody I didn't think they were playable because I saw the same release everybody else did. It was like, here's the 8 armies we're supporting in Old World. I'm like, okay, well, I'm out instantly because my favorite 2 armies aren't even on this fucking list. Mm-hmm. And then somebody told me, like, no, you can still play the other armies. I thought it was going to be like War Machine, where it's like, we're just making the cards legal, but they're not really tournament legal, and they're not going to be updated ever. But then I read the book, and I went, this is really well written. This is got new stuff in it that was never in it before. It's got redesigns of old rules that are much more elegant than they used to be. There was a lot of clunky problems with, like, undead specifically back in the old days. Mm-hmm. It's like, how do you balance an army that can just have infinite troops? Mm-hmm. It's like, well, that's hard. So I read through, I was like, wow, there's a lot of really well thought out abilities in here. And that's what got me interested in Old World originally, like about a year ago. And I've been slowly getting more and more information about it until recently.
And so, how would one know which one's the Legacy and which one's the?
There is a list of Legacy Army books. I think there's 8, and they're just available on GW's website for free. You can just download the PDFs. They're free books.
Interesting.
Yeah, and so it is. Let's see here. Chaos Dwarfs, Demons, Lizardmen, Ogres, Skaven, Vampire Counts, Dark Elves are definitely all Legacy armies.
Oh.
And so you can just get the Lizardmen army book and read it. It's free. It's not stealing. It's just free. Well, but at the same time, you can't buy those models. They're not in production.
Right. And
now there's
I'm looking at it right
Age
now.
of Sigmar equivalents that are Lustria or what do they call them?
Seraphim.
Seraphim, yeah. There's Seraphim stuff that is the equivalent model, but they're not in like the same potential configuration as you might need. And so, like, maybe you can go buy a unit of skeletons for AOS, but it doesn't have like the same war gear options as you might need to play Old World. Or it might come in like different quantities or something.
They're also Age of Sigmar sculpts are far more dynamic, so they're not going to rank up very well.
Yeah.
Because they're all doing.
They're also bigger.
Like
it is a
bigger scale.
There are a couple concepts in Sigmar that I thought was really cool, but they don't translate to the Old World very well, but just because of how silly the model is in terms of like size and scope. They look really cool, but then
I remember walking into tabletop one day and I saw the Iron Jaws for the first time. I had no idea what an Iron Jaw was till I walked into the store. I went, these guys are fucking cool. And I was like, I'm going to get me some of these. I turned the box over. I went, nope. And they just put it back on the shelf. It was like $180 for 3 bottles. I was like, fucking Christ, man. Yeah. But yeah, I was just going to buy them and paint them because I just thought they looked sweet.
Yep.
It reminded me very much of the Azag Slaughter model. Oh, I meant to say something when you were talking. In the podcast channel, the boss on the boar, I owned that model too. I just didn't know what he was called. I just used him as my war boss.
That's all I want to use him for.
Yeah, he was sweet.
That is such a cool model. It's
man, I wonder who ended up with my Warhammer Fantasy Army. Because I had probably 5,000 points of Orcs and Goblins. A ton of it was metal. I had like 60 of the old Savage Orcs, the caveman looking dudes.
Yeah.
And then I had about 20 of the old metal stone trolls. And I had all the metal characters. And I sold it to Joe at 31st Century. And he used to part stuff out. But also people would just buy it in store. And so I don't know who ended up with it. I'd be interested to find it. Oh, speaking of, somebody sold some of my old Necron models to the Geekery.
Really?
Which is funny because we were talking to them and they said they bought them in St. Louis. And so my old Necron models that I speed painted for a Mega Battle somehow transferred, because I sold them to a friend, I think his name was Brian. And I guess he sold them to like 2 other people, and somebody took them to St. Louis, sold them there. They lived there for like almost 10 years at least. And then they somehow migrated back to Kansas City and got sold to the Geekery. And it's like, what the fuck?
That's funny.
It was only like 1 unit of Necron Warriors. It was weird. It just makes me wonder how like the chain of like events that like things wander around in. Because it's a pretty niche community, right? Like there's not a lot of people playing A, war games, B, specifically 40K, and then C, playing the army you're playing. And so if you just count up those people per capita, it's like there's only so many places they can go unless you start selling stuff online. All right, Parker, don't tell me which one, but be honest. You're leaning towards one of the 3 already, aren't you?
No, I would say they're pretty close to each other.
It's actually pretty close? Okay.
Yeah.
Interesting. All right, well, let's jump into Mojo World real quick then, because we're getting high on time. Okay. So this week in Mojo World, we're doing... What the fuck are we doing? Oh yeah, favorite superhero costume. I'm just going to put Supersuit.
Where's my Supersuit?
Everyone knows the Supersuit.
Mm-hmm.
All right, this week, Josh... Oh, you were on last week, weren't you? I was thinking you weren't on last week.
No, he wasn't.
No, I wasn't on last week. That was 2 weeks ago.
He didn't do cars.
Yeah, Aaron was on last week.
Uh-huh.
Yeah, that fucker stole my number 2 pick.
He did.
I would have won if it wasn't for that. We were fighting each other. That was the problem.
Yep.
Or we just have uneducated people that watch bad media. I don't know.
Couldn't be that.
All right. So, Josh, you're up first. Supersuits to you.
Batman.
Terrible pick.
Really?
I'm just being mean. I do not like
Batman's
the old
iconic, dude.
I didn't say it wasn't iconic. It doesn't mean it's good. The triangle is iconic. It doesn't mean it's a good shape. Like what are we doing here? Like, much more of a wheel.
The triangle is iconic.
Build a building without a triangle. Show me.
Yeah.
Oh, that's good.
I work with STLs. So everything is a triangle.
Exactly. Yes.
Yeah. All right. So I'm just gonna take Iron Man. So.
I didn't even put it on my list. I knew it
because you knew there was no chance you're
no
gonna
way
get
I'm getting Iron
third
Man.
pick. Yeah. You're up.
All right, I'm gonna go with Venom.
He's not a hero.
He is a hero. Technically,
he's not a hero.
I mean,
he is hero in the comics.
He is
now.
famously not a hero.
He has been rewritten to be a hero now. He has
But
comics.
then Batman's a villain then, because there's been times he's been a villain.
Correct.
No, we're going with the base.
Okay, well then, if you say
you can't choose Punisher either.
Okay. So no, I probably can't see that guy either.
My next pick's gonna be Firefighter. They're the real hero. It's gonna be amazing.
That's awesome.
Everyone's gonna hate me for life.
Okay, I'm gonna go with one I can actually go with then. Starlord.
Okay. Yeah, I figured you were gonna do that.
Yeah, love me a Starlord.
Next.
I'm gonna go with. I don't know if you're gonna get this to me. I just love it, and it's my only DC pick. Is Red Hood.
I don't know enough about Red Hood to say yes or no.
He's kind of a vigilante, but he's also a member of the Batman family, like literally. So I don't know what you call him.
It's not the guy from the old Phantom movie, is it? That's the Phantom.
No.
There's the Batman animated movie Phantom.
So on the top of the Phantom says Jason Todd is Red Hood, a vigilante anti-hero who is a member of the Batman family.
Okay.
I'm giving you Batman because Batman is widely considered he's a sanctioned vigilante. Like no one's chasing Batman. Like they're not trying to arrest him.
Okay.
Yeah.
Then I'm going to go super B level and pick one of my favorites of all time, Maverick. I love Maverick. His costume. I'm losing this one.
Yeah. From the X.
I'm
Weapon
going.
X.
Yeah. From Weapon X. I'm going down with the ship.
Go with Mel Gibson.
No.
It got me for a second.
Yeah.
Okay. Now I'm in trouble because I'm not good at this one. This is a bad list for me. All right, I'm going to try and sneak one in here. Anti-Venom. He's a hero, right?
That's so dumb.
He heals people.
Yeah, I guess he doesn't kill anyone that I know of. So yeah, I don't know how you. Yeah, go for it. I guess.
Fictional anti-hero. Fictional anti-hero.
Damn it!
In the wiki.
Okay.
Checkmate anti-Venom.
All the cool ones are anti-heroes because they're edgy.
Yeah.
That's
why they're cool. Yeah.
Yeah.
Like Venom, Veto, Anti-Venom. Fuck.
I put Carnage, who's my first character, put on there. I was like, wait, not the hero.
Okay, I'm going to try and swing another one through here. Blade. Now, here we are. He doesn't kill humans, so he's not wanted.
He's a monster hunter.
Not wanted.
Okay.
0 wanted stars on Blade.
I'm going to see 0 wanted. Absolutely not. He's wanted by a lot of agencies.
By vampires.
They're all the ones monitored by vampires.
Not a governing body.
Fuck. I guess if he's a monster hunter, I guess I will say yeah, sure.
Let's just be honest. Everyone at the age of 12 thinks the ultimate attire is bulletproof vest, trench coat, sword.
Yeah.
Like that is the pinnacle of what you could wear.
Are we supposed to move past that?
I didn't say we were supposed to. I'm just saying that's when it begins.
I'm still in that phase.
All
right. To you, Josh. You got back.
Speaking of trench coat, I'm going to go with Gambit.
Oh, really? It was funny.
Gambit looks so cool, dude.
I was thinking of all the X-Men, and I went, and I was thinking of all the X-Men, and I thought of Gambit, and I giggled. I went, no.
No, Gambit looks cool.
Admit it, though. If you had to pick between Blade and Gambit, we know which one you were picking.
Gambit. Blade.
You're just mad I took Blade.
I think it's Blade. Blade is a cooler outfit than Gambit. It's the headpiece. I don't understand. Yeah. What the weird...
It is weird, because it's like a body stocking, like he's wearing.
Yeah,
underneath that.
It's because
why are you wearing
He's fucking Green Man minus the hair.
No, it keeps his hair in place. It's part of the style of the hair. Yeah. I'm looking at pictures of it, and it's clearly shaping which way the hair is going.
And that is fucking weird. The fact that it can, hold his hair is odd. Yeah. I can tell you that it was incredibly distracting through the whole Deadpool movie. His outfit was very distracting to me. I think that was on purpose. I think it was a meme. They were making fun of how silly it looks. Yeah.
I think, what's his name? Fuck.
Channing Tatum.
Channing Tatum. I just got it right before you said it. He did a good job as Gambit, but I think he's just too big. Like he's too stocky.
He's real
Gambit
bulky.
For me.
Yeah.
It just like I couldn't see anything other than Channing Tatum wearing a face mask.
Yeah.
The whole time he was on screen. But I think he did a good job. But the guy from the Wolverine Origins movie, despite that movie being a literal war crime, was a better Gambit, like visually. I don't know. So what's your final pick, Josh?
I'm just going to do Thor because I like how Thor looks, and I've been waiting. I tried to pick some winners, and then I was like, I can't pick...
If you did.
I can't pick Thor first. But yes, I love how Thor looks. So.
Oh, man, this is bad. So I have 4 here that I don't agree with. I just put them on my list because I couldn't think of anything else. I don't generally like... I'm not interested in superheroes because of what they wear, usually. In fact, that's kind of like the last thing you care about. One is for the memes, 2 are just iconic, and then the other one I actually like, but I don't want to say I like it.
Now I feel like you have to say that one, right?
I know. Gotta do it.
Clearly.
When in doubt, go for the memes.
No, not memes.
Frozone.
No! Oh,
yes.
God.
I'll tell you in the honorable mentions.
Okay. All right. I just need to know. I don't need to be voted on, sure.
Yeah. Parker, your final pick.
I refuse to not go with a DC character, so I'm actually going to go with. I'm actually going to go with one that I love because there's been so many varieties of it, and I've liked a lot of them. And go with Green Lantern. I've actually liked Green Lantern's outfit. I think it's cool. Kyle Rayner's Green Lantern outfit, the one with the mask, the one that was reinvented in the late '90s or whatever. I remember that's the first Green Lantern that I was like, oh, that's cool. The OG Hal Jordan one is lame, but
okay. All right, honorable mentions. I guess I'll go first. So the 2 just iconic ones I was going to pick were Spider-Man and Wolverine. I think they're both fine. They're so iconic that nobody could ever, mistake for who they are. I almost went with Spider-Man just for the black suit Spider-Man, but obviously that's not what I'm picking. It's just Spider-Man.
I don't know why I didn't think of this. Scarlet Spider. I've always loved the hoodie. I thought that was a cool concept.
Oh, yeah, that is a good costume.
If we had been able to do sub-factions of the pick, I would have also chosen a specific Spider-Man one.
Yeah.
2099.
2099 is a good one, but there's one, and he's got like glowing green flames on him.
I didn't think this through.
God, I am so bad at my own category. I can't believe you chose Green Lantern. I think that's like the worst choice ever. I only know the base suit, so I don't know. But the one I actually like, I think is really good, is Captain America.
Yeah, that's a good one.
And it's kind of like cheesy and lame at the same time, but that's why it's great. Like, it is so classic.
Similar concept of, I almost was like, because I don't like Superman as a character, but his look is so iconic, and it is a good, like, from a comic book perspective, like, design. I was like, no.
I disagree, but I'm not going to say you're wrong. I just don't agree.
I can't handle the red underwear. It's always fucking weird.
Yeah. But that's the thing. It's like
Wolverine wears blue underwear. 40s, does that bother you?
No, I know. I get it came from a time in which, like, that was a thing you needed to, like, put on there for some fucking reason. I just think it's odd. It's the same reason like OG Robin, where he had like a scale underwear and no leggings. Yeah. It was just fucking weird.
I think back in the day, they had to do the underwear because the color printing was so inconsistent that sometimes they couldn't guarantee it wouldn't be printed in black and white. And then it's like, well, is he even fucking wearing clothes? Like, what's up with this guy? And so they had to do it to differentiate. Yeah. And then when they colored it, they couldn't remove it. Anyway, do you guys have any other honorable mentions other than regretting all the great ones I had?
Yeah, I should have just picked Spider-Man 2099 hard. I'm really sad. I didn't think of Spider-Man 2099. That makes me really upset. But otherwise, I'm fine.
Nope, good to go.
Well, I have something to take your mind off of it, Parker.
What?
So there was a nun that's stepping out of the shower, right? And she hears a knock at the door. So still undressed, she asks, "Who's there?" Answering back, "It's the blind man." She says, "Come in." And then man steps into the room carrying a box, says, "Nice tits, where do you want the blinds?"
That's a good one.
I like that one a lot. Yeah. It's a really simple little story.
Yeah.
But I really like the idea he comes in, just Straight up. Nice tits.
Yeah.
I think it's interesting. None is the story too. I think that's an interesting choice.
It's supposed to like throw you off,
right?
So.
Well, also the fact that nuns are nuns are female, right? So you don't have to wonder. It's simple. But
it's about the only way to guarantee that it's obvious.
Right.
All right. I have to also put this in the thing. Okay. All right. Well, hopefully you guys enjoyed. This has been Brandon.
And Parker.
And Josh.
And you've just listened to Lizardmen. Call my shot. It's going to happen.
So what are we going to call this thing?
I got it. Okay. Incredible, new, fantastic, astonishing, mighty, original, uncanny, sensational podcast.
I'm just going to put down infamous.